Initial sounds. How to say the initial sounds for parents and teachers. Brought to you in association with Reading Made Simple, a totally free, synthetic, systematic phonic reading and spelling programme for all ages and abilities, including special needs. It is very important that children are taught right from the start to pronounce the initial sounds correctly. This short video will help you to learn them for yourself before you start to teach them to your child. To make a sound, we use our breath, lips, tongue, and teeth together. As you say each sound, think about the position of your tongue, lips, and teeth. Look in a mirror and see how these three move into the position needed to make the correct sound. Here is the letter A, and it stands for the sound A, as heard in the word apple. A says A. This is the letter B, and it stands for the sound B, as heard in the word ball. B says B. This is the letter C, and it stands for the sound K, as heard in the word cat. C says K. Here is the letter D, standing for the sound D, as heard in the word dog. D says D. Here is the letter E, standing for the sound E, as heard in the word egg. E says E. Here is the letter F, standing for the sound F, as heard in the word fish. F says F. Here is the letter G, standing for the sound G, as heard in the word gate. G says G. This is the letter H, and it stands for the sound H. H. Just a breath, as in the word horse. H says H. Here is I, making the sound I. I for ink, not I for ice cream. Be very careful of any word books or alphabet books that you might buy, for it is on this letter that many make a mistake. I is not for ice cream. It needs to be a word that starts with a pure sound I. Ink, igloo, indigo, in, and so on. Here is J, standing for the sound J. J for jelly. J says J. Here is K, standing for the sound K, as in kangaroo. K says K. Here is the letter L, and it stands for the sound L. L is made by pressing the tongue against the roof of the mouth and voicing the sound L. L says L for lolly. The letter M stands for the sound M. M for mop. M says M. N stands for the sound N. N for nail. N says N. The letter O stands for the sound O for octopus. O says O. Here is the letter P, standing for the sound P. P. But don't try not to be tempted to put the after it. P. It's explosive like B, B, but B is a harder sound than P. Practice those two one after the other and hear the difference. Feel the difference indeed. B, P, B, P. Same position of the mouth. P for panda. P says P. Here is Q, standing for the sound Q. Q for queen. However, we must qualify this sound as it never comes on its own. It is always accompanied by the letter U. Q and U actually are the ones that together make the sound qu, and we will be teaching that as we move through the programme. R stands for the sound R, for rabbit. Rabbit. R says R. Here is the letter S, making the sound S for snake. S says S. Here is the letter T, and it makes the sound T, T, a ticking sound, T, 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 like a clock. T says T, tick, tock. Here is the letter U, standing for the sound A for umbrella and up. U says A. Here is the letter V, and it stands for the sound V. V for van. The mouth, teeth and tongue are in the same position as they are for the letter F, except for F is a blowy sound and V is a harder voiced sound. Say them one after the other, F, V, F, V, and hear the difference and feel the difference. Here is the letter W, standing for the sound W. W for water. W says W, W. Here is the letter X, standing for the sound X. Rarely at the beginning of a word, but often heard at the end of a word like fox and box. X stands for the sound X. Here is the letter Y, standing for the sound E. It's E, 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 at the back of the throat. E, E. Some people would say Y, but that's a little misleading when you want to put it on the end of a word like happy. Happy. Feel it there at the back of the throat. E. And if you start to say a word like yacht, you can feel it there too. Yacht. Have a little practice. Here is the letter Z, standing for the sound Z. Z for zebra. Z says Z. Children differ as to the length of time taken to learn these 26 sounds. Please do not be tempted to rush this stage, as it is foundational to future success in reading. Mistakes made here can hold a child back a long time, and many teachers rush on too quickly before these sounds are securely known. Children need, in time, to know both the letter names and the letter sounds, but the letter sounds are the most important for reading and spelling. Do not be in a rush to teach a child to blend. There is time enough for that later. Take great diligence to ensure that every child can quickly give the right sound for every letter and find the right letter for every given sound. Also make absolutely sure that every child can hear the initial sound of a given word. For more help, please see www.readingmadesimple.weebly.com.